So yesterday was September 29th. It was the effective date for the Chapter 11 plan, a huge event for people holding and following the stock. Uh, Most of us with conviction who have a lot on the line, we regularly tune into the PP show. And I just wanted to say that I should have been there on yesterday's live stream. It literally happened to be my wife's birthday. I couldn't have known these SEC filings would drop in the middle of the afternoon. We had evening plans. I obviously couldn't cancel. Still, uh, I feel like I let my family down by not making an appearance in solidarity because I truly consider you all family. You know, family is not necessarily the people you share biological or legal ties with. They're also the people you experience both adversity and joy with. And in that sense, my concept of family absolutely extends to the PP show. Those on stream, and of course, everyone in the chat. Shout out to you all. Shout out to Rock Solid SF. So, as a brother, I should have been there to help convey how extraordinary a moment this is for us. In fact, I'm worried I'd post this video too late because, I expect an announcement describing new equity for us shareholders at literally any minute. So, I'm not going to wait until Monday to express myself for whatever it's worth to you. Not that my opinion should be worth anything to anyone. Also, this is obviously a spontaneous video, so excuse me for not properly organizing my thoughts. I do plan on joining the PP show when it airs next week, so it's just a quick message that I want to get out there. I'm seeing a lot of mixed feelings, which is natural. It's perfectly acceptable and it's expected given, after all this time, we still don't have the missing pieces in front of us. We don't have the written guarantee of preservation, recovery. But what I'll expand on further in a minute is the fact that we can make a reasonably accurate deduction that we have won. Okay, I don't want to downplay the worry some of you might be feeling today. That's perfectly acceptable, as I mentioned. There is a general haze and confusion, and we all feel like we've been shell shocked. Some of us are getting anxious because of it, but perhaps you could benefit from the reminder that we do have evidence at this time to make the deduction that we won, even if that hasn't been reflected in our bank accounts. So even if the written language we want to has yet to be published, I personally choose to feel confident, to be happy. Uh, Despite the apparent cancellation of our shares in this premature victory lap that mainstream media and the melties on Reddit are enjoying, because I know I made a fucking amazing investment. Okay, it's a fantastic investment, and I'm about to be rewarded. We're all in shell shock. I'm in shell shock, but for a different reason. For me personally, I'm having difficulty processing the squeeze I've been envisioning and chasing after over the past years about to happen. Guys, we're on the verge of a, a groundbreaking shift in market mechanics. We're very likely about to witness the downfall of predatory hedge funds. The end to naked short selling, this abusive high frequency trading. And I personally believe we're going to see the collapse of a few global currencies and this great reset to equilibrium. There hasn't been a Ponzi scheme that lasts forever. And I mentioned before, and I'm going to mention again, I'm not only betting my life savings, I'm betting my credibility as a thinker, and I'm betting my public image. I know this video will last a while. I'm willing to be mocked in the near term for having what some claim are delusional theories of said near future. But I know, I'm good with problem solving. I've done the math, and the data suggests we won. We've all seen the movie Rain Man with Tom Cruise. That guy was good at math. I'll admit, I'm undiagnosed, but I'm definitely somewhere on the spectrum. Maybe it's Asperger's. Honestly, I don't know. But what I do know is I'm not normal. And I'm comfortable admitting that because I'm deeply aware that no one watching this video right now subscribed to the PP show is normal. We're a collection of misfits. No one in their right mind would have made the investment that we made. No one would have taken the same risks, tolerated the same bullshit that we did for as long as we did. But it's our ability to deviate in our thinking, to avoid being conformists, listening to the Jim Cramers of the world. It's our ability to look in the face of utter shit, failure, and see success. That's what makes us that's what makes us the nightmare that we are to short hedge funds, you know, who have programmed their algorithms to manipulate markets based on normal psychological behavior. What they never predicted was this group of critical thinking apes. They never predicted our tenacity, what some refer to as our weaponized autism. It allowed us to hold against all odds. So trust me, bro, I believe we beat the system. The economy is sick, okay? And the stock market, it's living in this fantasy world of its own. We're starting to fizzle with this AI mania and this dangerous concentration into a few tickers. All it's going to take is one transaction to bring the whole house of cards crashing down. And this weekend, we have these government shutdown fears, ongoing geopolitical shifts, tension. We have interest rates at unprecedented levels, inflation starting to go back up, unsustained housing costs. And you combine all of this with an utter incompetence all throughout Washington on both sides of the aisle, from the SEC to the Federal Reserve to the Office of the Presidency. No one was prepared for the reality that we're currently in. And many of us are still in denial. Only a few of us truly understand the shitstorm that we're heading towards. And honestly, I believe, the best and most regarded among us is Ryan Cohen. This guy understands business. Ryan Cohen sees what works. He sees what's broken. And fortunately for us, he loves to roll up his sleeves and fix the problem without running his mouth on social media. This guy, he also knows we're watching him. He knows he has an observant and loyal investor base. Everyone knows it. Mainstream media knows it. And he was kind enough, in my opinion, to string us along in a way that's going to be mutually beneficial in the long term. No one said it was going to be easy. We needed adversity to survive. But my faith in Ryan Cohen is not purely because of his character. It's not purely because of his history of accomplishments, building Chewy from the ground up, successfully defeating Amazon in the pet market, focusing on customer satisfaction. It's not because he turned GameStop from, the threat of bankruptcy into this innovative leader and soon to be profitable tech company. I believe Ryan Cohen is in control, and I trust him because of one fact. If you use the Wayback Machine and you search Teddy.com, which today is a children's book publisher, seller, you can find a snapshot that was taken October 1st, 2020. That's exactly 3 years to this day. What do we see? Go on the website. You see toys. You see an infant car seat. You see a newborn cozy mat, baby monitors, baby carriers, a baby carriage, baby bottles. You get the idea. And we know he made the website because you can find the snapshots on the Teddy trademark page, the U.S. PTO, I believe it's referred to as. October 1st, 2020, was a year and a half before he wrote the letter to the board of Bed Bath & Beyond. A year and a half. Okay, he's years ahead. I trust him because he's planned his strategy years in advance. I trust him because he's intelligent. He's detail-oriented. He's deliberate, And we're all reacting in real time to these events that are taking place, when in reality, in my opinion, we're on this predetermined roller coaster. So I believe personally that Ryan Cohen is behind 6th Street. I believe this because I refuse to acknowledge the dumb idea that 6th Street made a bad bet, funding the company despite knowing their plans to file Chapter 11. I believe it because of the coincidental timing of RC's exit and 6th Street's entry, only days apart. because of the positive signal to his Twitter followers regarding Bed Bath and Beyond's potential days before he sells his shares. Because of the 8K filed on August 17th, at the time he sold his shares, which states a constructive agreement. It reiterates the constructive agreement with RC Ventures, and then acknowledges several weeks of negotiation with external financial lenders, later revealed to be Sixth Street. Because RC's name repeatedly appears as a creditor, an interested party, throughout the dockets, all in addition to his known commitment to shareholders, going back to the reputation thesis that is spelled out by Realize. So I trust Ryan Cohen. And we can list all the puzzle pieces that fit and those that don't make sense for a typical Chapter 7-esque liquidation. In fact, I encourage you all to visit Salvatore's Twitter, because that man knows how to make an argument. If he had gone to law school, he'd be ridiculously rich. He wouldn't be gambling with the rest of us. Just tune out if he ever mentions Spider-Man. If you know, you know. But I digress. What I'm trying to say is that I don't believe there was this falling out between Ryan Cohen and the board that some people like Kevin Malone has suggested, even Polte suggested. I think that's an easy way to excuse why he sold his share, and it's likely what RC wants people to believe happened, but it's not likely. I believe that everything we've experienced over the past 12 months has been orchestrated to bring us to this moment. So let's not forget, he initially bought into the company as an activist investor, and if he gives up at the slightest encounter with friction, then it's a pretty damn shitty activism campaign. So, in my opinion, if you haven't sold your shares at before market close on Friday, congratulations, because I hope you like ice cream. I believe that passing the effective date triggered a fundamental transaction involving the former shell of Bed Bath & Beyond, a transaction characterized by a debt for equity swap between Sixth Street, so that they're entitled to 50% of what we now know to be DK Butterfly. And we'll probably find out soon the $1.5 billion debt, the majority of which were held by certain bondholders, is going to be erased for equity. I believe that this transaction was designed to preserve operating losses, the nulls, and that in turn makes us the greatest beneficiaries of the exchange, because our ownership would need to be kept at 50%. And the equity structure for Butterfly, according to the SEC filings made yesterday, is 901 million shares. And that's just 1 million shares more than the current authorized number of Bed Bath & Beyond shares, BBBYQ. So this suggests that there's going to be some kind of one-to-one distribution of new equity. And what makes that so fucking bullish is any distribution will need to be met with a recall of shares on loan, meaning it's going to act as a catalyst for the billions of synthetic and naked shares exchanging hands. They're about to be exposed. Okay, the billions of dollars in open interest on the options chain for November and January, they're about to go in the money. We're about to see a new generation of millionaires emerge. So it's fucking exciting. I'm trying not to get ahead of myself. So what we're waiting for now is, one or more of 4 different forms: an S1, an S3, a 10K, or a 10Q. We need them filed. I predict it to happen any moment. It could happen today. It could happen tomorrow. Any moment. And I think we'll then move from the expert market back to OTC for a period of time before our shares ultimately start trading on the NASDAQ again. And I don't personally think we're going to retain the name Butterfly. I think it's just being used as a vehicle until RC can ultimately compete this reverse merger into Teddy. And this idea of a decentralized exchange and the NFT linked shares that that's been floating around, and I hear Citizen OKBet talking about a lot. It's incredibly exciting, and I hope that it does actualize. I just don't know if we're there yet. I hope we are, but I don't know. And I honestly don't think it matters in the near term for an epic short squeeze. Uh, it would certainly help, but I don't think it would matter. So, regardless of the details, we spent a year together heavily researching this stock. Due diligence is done. We shared our insights, we acknowledged our differences, we made our bets, and now we wait. And honestly, we couldn't buy or sell if we wanted to. So, just a few more points I'd like to get across. So, I hope everyone recognizes also how important Polte's invitation of PP and the crew was in the previous week. Many, understandably, many of us were disappointed, and we didn't get that announcement we wanted on Monday. But you can't deny that the anticipation of that announcement and the exciting events, they made holding our shares into the weekend less difficult. I'm sure. And just remember, Bill Pulte, his estimated net worth is $100 million, and he's paying this disproportionate attention, to a group of a few thousand degens on a show centered centered on the theme of dildos, alcohol abuse, and a bankrupt retailer. So why would he do that if he thought we were losers? Why would he invite tens of people to his home if we all just got wiped out? I personally believe those $500 invitations are to a party to celebrate in the future. I don't know. We'll see. Most importantly, anyone who watches the PP show knows we're fucking meticulous. Okay, we're meticulous. So we're willing to analyze the fucking skin texture and arm hair of unknown people in pictures posted by our former chief legal officer. So knowing how carefully we're watching, he waits until an hour and 47 minutes into the show to give our boys some ice cream. The symbolic reward offered in the Teddy books. He knows his audience and he's communicating with us in a way that, that's not going to get him sued. And most importantly, he doesn't owe it to us to do that. Okay? He does it because he knows that we are the most intelligent and principled motherfuckers in the financial world, and that we as a collective share as shareholders, we're a valuable asset. Okay? So just another point I want to make. Changing the debtor's name to Butterfly, temporarily or not, in my opinion, it's an utterly beautiful and poetic decision for several reasons. When you think of the metamorphosis of a caterpillar into a butterfly, it symbolizes a transformation, a profound transformation from one state to another, one with a different form, a different purpose. It represents this innocence, a beauty in adversity. Every caterpillar undergoes, a pretty challenging process inside the cocoon, chrysalis. Cocoons are for moths, but that's just me being pedantic. To me, it told me that Bed Bath & Beyond, following the difficulties, the hardship, the struggle that it faced in its former shell, it's going to emerge magnificent. It symbolizes resilience, an ability to adapt, undergo a radical change, freedom from confinement, the ability to soar and pursue one's dreams. So the choice of the name Butterfly, it's also being used as a metaphor for various stages in a lifetime. The end of an era, but the beginning of a new stage, that's going to bring its own unique growth and opportunity. They could have easily named it DK Liquidation Trust, but they didn't. So, to keep this video short, I'm making the prediction that we're going to be getting new equity in exchange for our canceled shares. I have little doubt. I just want to remind those who've made it this far, the situation at hand is nothing short of extraordinary. It's nothing short of unprecedented. Over the past decade and a half, this stock has been illegally subjected to an overwhelming amount of naked short selling, creating an unimaginable accumulation of oversold shares, hidden liabilities. And if you held shares as of the effective date, if you have Bed Bath & Beyond in your portfolio, You are participating in a historic opportunity for a short squeeze that can make anyone holding a few thousand shares incredibly wealthy. This is not financial advice. This is my opinion. And remember, what lies ahead, it's not just a short squeeze. There are plenty of short squeezes that happen. If you follow these small subreddits that talk about squeezing this company and that squeeze, for a lot of us, including myself, it's not just about the profit. It's this powerful movement, to hold these criminal managers, market makers accountable for their illegal practices. This is not everyone's, ultimate goal. Some of us just want to make money, perfectly acceptable. I would like to do the same. But I'd like to do so in a free and fair market. Every day these fucks, they hire stooges, to dissuade us, to tire us, to bore us, frighten us, and we only strengthen in our resolve. So it's time for us to level that playing field and reshape the landscape of financial markets. It's time for the retail investor to yell the loudest and finally be heard. And thank God for the PP show that's given us this platform. So I just want to emphasize before I leave that the short interest cannot be overstated. It's arguably even more valuable than the nulls the company has to offer. With the float oversold by several orders of magnitude, the demand for our new equity, it's going to be virtually infinite. Okay, and we're in an illiquid environment. We control the supply. Just last week we saw the stock run 100% on $16,000 worth of volume. So when this inevitably occurs, when they finally decide to start closing their positions, when the announcement is made that we are going to have a one-to-one distribution, don't make it easy for them. Every PP from all walks of life, the architects, the nurses, electricians, the judges, the farmers, the stripper accountants, the PPs representing the working class, this is your opportunity to take back what's been taken from you, what's been taken from your parents and from your children. I personally would like to see these sociopaths go bankrupt. Sociopaths running Citadel, Virtue Financial, Nomura, Susquehanna, Jane Street Capital. They've been given way too much leeway to cause so much harm for the pure purpose of feeding their own greed. And that's the kind of natural stupidity that Carl Icahn preyed on to make his fortune. My parting advice, not financial advice, none of this is financial advice. Okay, my one madman in his ramblings. Don't sell yourself short. Take whatever you think your new shares are going to be worth, should be worth, multiply that target by 10, and hold.